What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. So before starting with the weekly analysis, I got a comment or question in the comments from Genius84 asking how do I draw or plot my key support resistance zones. Okay, so I'll just go over that quickly, and then as I'm going through my weekly analysis, obviously that will be more verified. Okay, so firstly, support and resistance. You have to know what that is before determining how to draw your zones. Okay, so support is the price level or zone that a currency does not fall below for a period of time. That's a very simple way of putting it. And resistance is basically the opposite, price level that the currency does not cross for a period of time. Okay, so if we could just illustrate that, we might have a zone somewhere here, right, and a zone somewhere here, where this is our support, and this, where this is our resistance. Okay, there, and that is our support right there. Okay, so in an ideal market, whenever the price pushes down, it touches the zone to then start moving upwards, and whenever it touches that resistance zone, it will start moving downwards, and so on and so forth. Okay, so on and so forth. However, we know that the market is not perfect. Okay, so when the price gets to these zones, it behaves in a certain way. Okay, and candlesticks and price action, or the behavior of the candlesticks, is not perfect. So the price doesn't come here and just automatically just bounce up and move down or whatever. Certain things occur. So let's take a support zone. So if we're looking at just the support, price could literally come down like that. Let's say one candle's going there, massive candle goes down, okay, to take out any stops there. Stop hand candle, let's say for argument's sake, might go down a tad bit more, then it might come up, and then the market might start moving upwards. Okay, also price could move down to the zone, come to the zone right there, and show a massive wick. Okay, so it went down, took out the stops, came right back up, and then started moving upwards again. Alright, so the point here is, when price gets to this zone, yes, sometimes it does come down. Okay, it does come down, get to that zone, bounce off that zone, and then just start moving upwards. Alright, so the point here is, whenever price gets to the support or resistance zone, it doesn't behave ideally, and therefore it cannot be a single price level. Okay, it's best to put it as a zone. So what I mean by that is that if you previously see, let's take this out, okay, that now we're analyzing, okay, and we see that price previously moved in this manner, went back up, okay, then let's say it hit a resistance there or whatever, then it came back down, moved in this manner, hit back there, then started moving back up. Alright, so this is a zone that I also account for. Okay, so there could be wicks in the zone, or there could be stop hunt candles, where candles broke through and went back up. Right, so to start off, you can draw your first line, in this case at the base of the wick and at the tip of the wick, right? And in the case where, let's say, this candle went a little bit further down than the wick, then started moving upwards, I would, depending on how big the range is, okay, I would include that entire candle in that zone. Okay, so now this is where I'm looking for market behavior. So what I'll be looking to see is whether will price come back down, hit there, move up, okay, or come back down, come in the middle of the zone, move up, or whatever. So as long as I know that within this region I'm expecting to see rejection or a breakthrough, so market might just move right back past this, come back up to retest, and then start moving downwards. Okay, so basically the whole point of this is that a zone of support or a zone of resistance is no one single price. It's an area where the market has resisted or has shown resistance or has shown support. Okay, so when you come to the charts, let's look at this great British pound and USD pair. Okay, so let me just take all of these off first. Take that off, take this off, take that off. Okay, so once you've determined, okay, that the market is in an uptrend or whatever, now we're looking to draw our key support resistance zones. And just as an aside, the higher the time frame, the more powerful the support and resistance zone. So as you guys see, I typically use the 4-hour, but also the daily is a good time frame to look at zones, support resistance zones, as well as the 4-hour. Okay, yes, you can look at them in any time frame. However, the stronger ones are the ones on the higher time frames. All right, so if we go to the daily and we see, okay, we are now in an uptrend, okay, and when we go to the 4-hour, we want to plot our support resistance zones. So if we were using a line, we would see that, okay, the market has touched there. It's got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. However, it also broke through, took out the stops, and then came right back down here. Okay, so I would also account for this little stop hunt over there. So we see the market came through, went up, showed a nice weak rejection there, then it bounced off, went up, showed a nice stop hunt over there, and continued moving back down. So that zone right there would be what I'm looking for, or where I'm looking for behavior, either at the bottom of it, at the top of it, or somewhere in the middle. Okay, so hence I just take the rectangle once I found my zones, and I just draw it like that. Just makes life a lot easier and your charts less cluttered. Okay, if you still prefer to draw with the lines, you obviously may different strokes for different folks. Okay, so that would be our first zone. Second zone is the resistance support zone. So we see that the market touched there once, touched there twice, went a little bit down to this region over here. Okay, so if we want to take that into account as well, once you plot there, you also see that this is also overlapping with what? That faint little touch there, and also these little pullback retrace touches that are happening somewhere here. Okay, so this is a key zone of support and resistance. All right, so same thing applies when we're looking at this pair. So we can just draw it in there, and then you've plotted where the market started touching, where the market ended in inverted commas, touching within this region. Okay, so that could be a third support resistance zone. Okay, second, I mean, support resistance zone. Typically I like having 3 to 4. Okay, I don't like having zones that are too far away from price action. Then the final one we could also look at as we see that the market touched there and ran off, and also bounced off there and ran up. So let's start with the most obvious one right there, and you can see it's connecting with the tip of that. Okay, and then we have one of two choices here. You can connect this with that bottom zone over there, because the market also came up, touched there, moved out, and we could also take into account those wicks over there. So this is a slightly larger zone where it starts from that wick rejection, or those wick rejections, the base of them, and ends at the top of that downward movement. So this is a slightly bigger zone to watch out for. So when we're plotting it, you just start from the top all the way to the bottom, and if you just want to make sure that you remind yourself of the zone, you can just draw it all the way back there. Okay, just so that you know where all the support and resistance touches come from. Alright, so that is where you draw your third zone. So obviously now when we go into the 1 hour, what we are expecting to see is either the market for this week, okay, to come back down here and give us a move to the upside. Okay, don't know why these are here. Okay, so we saw from our daily firstly that we are in an uptrend. The market is making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we go to our 4 hour, we can clearly see our support resistance zones that we just drew now. Okay, so with the 1 hour, what we are expecting to see this week is the market to come down to the support, bounce off and move on, or the market could break through that resistance, come back down and continue moving to the upside, or the market would come the whole way back down here and then start making its way back up. And obviously if you don't see the setup, or you don't see a valid setup to trade, don't force the trade, just don't trade and go at and look at other prospective pairs. Okay, what you guys should make a habit is, if the market doesn't look as nice as you want it to look, the setup, that is, if it doesn't look as nice as you want it to look, or it looks a little bit confusing, probably that's a better way of putting it, just don't take the trade. There'll always be another pair that has a setup that looks a lot clearer. Okay, so the next pair we'll be looking at is the USD Cad. So we literally could do the same thing to this one. Let's delete all of this. Okay, so the overall trend has been downward. Okay, it's as clear as daylight. Everyone can see that the market's making lower lows and lower highs. Alright, so let's go to a 4 hour. You see that the market has had a nice wick rejection there. Okay, and also it's bounced off in this region, it bounced off there, and all of that. So this is the first zone that we can be looking at right there. Okay, so you can expect, if the market's going to move further downwards, for it to break through the strong support, come back for a retest, and then move off. Okay, second zone is right here. So you can see that the market has bounced off there, came back down, bounced off here. Now it's bouncing off there again, so hopefully it comes back down, breaks through and moves off, or it might move up here and then come back to retest. However, when drawing the zones, so this is a case of where the market moves quite nicely or quite perfectly, where it just bounces off this support, this resistance line, right, almost to the T. However, just like accounting for the wicks as well, okay, so you'll see that those wicks can also connect to the base of that rejection over there, so we can put that as a nice little zone over there. All right, so you can just join all of that there. Cool. So that's what you can be looking at. And then for our final zone, you can see we had a massive wick over here. We'll take account for that for the tip of the wick, and then we'll also take into account the base of the wick, okay, and the rejection of the candlesticks there, as well as that side. So this could be our third and final zone so far. All right. So let's delete our lines quickly. Delete the top line. Cool. So now this is what we're looking for the USD Cad. So what we're expecting for next week is either for the move to continue to the downside, break through this support, come back down to retest the now new resistance and continue moving back down, or the market could move upwards, hit that resistance, continue making its way back down, or alternatively the market could go back all the way up there, retest over there, then obviously come back and make its way back down. Okay, so that's what we're looking for the USD Cad. And then the final pair is the New Zealand dollar USD. I'm sure you guys saw me. I took this trade on NFP day. Okay, I'm still in profit for now, about 50 pips in. You can see over there we have about 50 pips exactly. Okay, so likewise with this one, I'm not expecting anything any different. So we can go to the daily. So we see that predominantly we're still in an uptrend. Okay, the market is making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, there was a bit of a pullback over there, but now the market broke structure and is continuing to the upside. However, we see a little bit of a range or consolidation right here, but the market took a bounce of this key support. Now let's draw the zone again. Okay, so what do we see? You can see the market retraced over there. Okay, and also the market seems to have found support in this region. So within this zone or in this area, the market seems to be touching and moving up, touching, moving up, coming back in here, moving upwards, touching, moving up, touching, moving up. You guys get the idea. So we can take our rectangle, fill in the gap, and then that's our first zone plotted. Okay, now the next part is where are we expecting the market to go. Let's see if we can get our resistance zones set up. So we see a nice resistance here. Okay, can even move it a little bit downward, because you see it's close to this point over there. Okay, and we see a nice little wicks there in that region. However, I'm also seeing a nice wick rejection here, and the market moved downward after this wick rejection, so we can move it a little bit down to account for all of these moves. Okay, it's a bit of a larger zone. Okay, but this is where we're expecting the market to react. All right, so just fill in the gaps over there. Cool, and we're done. So these support resistance zones are not supposed to be perfect, okay, or perfect points in the chart where the market will bounce off. It's just to give you an idea of where you can be expecting to see price behaving or misbehaving, rejecting, retesting, or reversing. Okay, so that's what they're mostly important for, because as you can see, when price gets to these zones, what does it do? To the strong upward momentum, slow down, slow down, slow down, started coming down, went back up, giving us the double top, then started moving back downwards. Likewise, strong bearish momentum, red, 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 started hitting the brakes immediately as it got to the zone, went back up, came back down, now it's going back up. So I would expect to see the same thing here. So it probably is going to shoot back up, hit that take profit if it gets there, slow down, and continue its way back down. Or since this is an uptrend, okay, hopefully the market will break through. Okay, continuous momentum, break through there, come back down, show us a retest, okay, and then continue its way back up. Or the market could, like it did here, okay, with these bearish momentum for the time, could run back down here, take me out of my trade, kind of hit the brakes, come back to retest that support, and start moving back upwards. Okay, so yeah, those are the pairs I'm looking for this week, and that is how I draw my key support resistance zones. If you found that helpful, please leave a like. Please comment if you have any questions or any suggestions, and thank you guys all for watching. Bye.